Whereas Flav said Lance can't do a 2-minute drive and then just did against the top defense in the NFL. Let's start right there with Lance. I mean, I thought I was going to be putting him in the not so good section, and then he led the best drive I've ever seen him lead. It was against the Niners' first team defense. He was near perfect on it. What did you see from Lance today and in the last 3 days?
Well, I thought that he was a lot better today with the quicker stuff. Like I like the timing route that he had with Ayuk on the comeback. That's good. That stuff is there. That looks good. But then the deep ball stuff is what's kind of concerning. Now, Debo wasn't exactly separated on the one deep ball that he overthrew, but then Kittle being like open down the field, you gotta hit that. You gotta hit that. But I think what was the best part about them switching to the situational portion, and maybe they didn't do it on purpose, but it was perfect for him, was you get the pick, you don't let him stew on it. And then you get him to play fast, meaning, you only have a minute set on the clock. You're down 24-20. That's the game situation. You've got to move the ball. You've got to get everybody. So he was scrambling. He had a good connection with Kittle. I like the fact, I think it was a godsend that situational drill came in right after that because it didn't give him time to stew on that. Like he bounced right back and he went. And I liked it. And I like what I saw in terms of that, what he did with his legs. And the connection that he had with Kittle was pretty good on that drive as well, too. But that last throw, which was basically – And if you remember, Grant, like that drill at the end, the defense is playing like, we're not giving this up. They had 4 guys at the front of the end zone. Like they pushed everybody back. They only rushed 3, but they pushed everybody back. He still made a play to Ray McCloud to get the ball in. So I felt like it was the perfect thing for him right after the pick 6. Great play by Jimmy Ward, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But that touchdown, like that changed everything. It wasn't just the drive, but the way that it was the last play of the game, 6 seconds left, had to have it. He was under pressure. He stepped up. He made a play. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Niners quarterback make a play like that in that situation. He was clutch. He was athletic. I mean, he was all the things like the Niners hoped and envisioned he could be one day in that one moment. Yeah. So it was so encouraging. Like what I liked a lot about that drive as well was the scrambles. I felt last year sometimes, especially in the preseason, was like, dude, move. What are you? What are you trying to prove? Use your legs. And he did that perfectly today. I think he'll get a feel for that as he plays more, but that's got to be a big weapon of his.
Yeah, this is that was very impressive, man. That drive right there, and to Nate Sudfeld's credit too, he actually moved the ball pretty well. But what they were doing is when you would get to the 30, they would just move you back, and I guess that was in an effort to get more reps for Lance. Yeah. But it's beautiful to have him finish with that throw and finish in the way that you explained too, like a lot of off script stuff, but then still finding Kittle, right? Like it all worked. He never really put the ball in harm's way. He was just playing. Again, like taking the thinking out of it, like just go and play. Like sometimes he needs to be a little bit more free, but we know that Shanahan likes to push things, in his head, like get him like, yo, you need to do this. He does need to work on that stuff, but playing free and easy, that was probably the best thing for him.
Now on the interception, to me, what I saw, and Lance talked about, he's very smart. And when he makes a mistake, he'll go into like painstaking detail about what happened. He said, 0 blitz. They blitzed everyone. And I was watching McGlinchey because he was matched up on Drake Jackson. I wanted to see it, but McGlinchey had to block down to pick up a blitzer, and so Drake Jackson was not blocked. I don't know if there was someone in the backfield that was supposed to pick him up. He wasn't blocked. Lance had to throw the ball to his check down guy. Jimmy thought a mile away, and Lance said, "I got to throw it quicker." Yeah, probably. I guess that's what. What'd you see?
Yeah, I saw Jimmy Ward make a great play, man. And it looked like he had it set up and everything. It's Jimmy knowing what the play was coming forward, and then knowing, that hey, when it's 0 blitz, you get that thing, you got to get it out. And when you do, Jimmy was betting on that. He went right to his check down, which I think was probably, I can't say what because you can only see for so far, but I can't say what without looking out from up top, like what else was he supposed to do? I thought he went to like the right alert, whatever, but Jimmy just made a good play, and that's a good thing. And
to me, that's a poorly designed. I mean, not to get too nitpicky, but on 3rd and 9, you have to have 2 people in the backfield, someone to pick up that blitzer. Because if the defense, even if you completed the pass, you forced a check down on 3rd and 9, like you lost. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't understand what happened there, but you can't make a bad play worse from Trey Lance's perspective.
No. And then he had another throw with that Emmanuel Mosley was like right to him almost, and it was like I saw Juszczyk in the flat, and I was like, I thought he was going there with it, and I just like he tried to force it in, and it's like it bounced right off of Mosley. So yeah, right.
So I had Debo on a dig. I was watching Debo's route, and I thought, there was a window.
I thought like when I was looking at his helmet, like he had Ayuk there, but I saw Juszczyk right there, and I thought he was just gonna go and get that thing out to Juszczyk for just a quick, because he's been pretty good at that, like getting it down, like checking it down and moving it.
One thing I want to point out real quick, I think we're talking a lot about passing in this training camp. This team isn't going to pass that much.
No.
I really want to underline that. They're going to pass less than they did last year.
Yes.
And a lot of their passing is going to be off play action. It's going to be situational. It's not going to be that much.
No.
This team is going to run so much. Yeah. Trey Lance is going to run so much. I know people don't want to hear that. He's going to run a lot. I mean,
he had a nice design run today too, actually. Very nice.
They did quarterback power. They did all kind of stuff with him today. I bet you he's going to average between 8 and 10 carries a game.
That makes sense. And how many of those are just going to be scrambles? How many of those are going to be like
50 to 75%?
So, but it's funny that you bring that up because I felt today was the best day for the running back group as a whole. Yesterday was Elijah Mitchell's day, but today all of them had very good runs. All of them looked good, especially TDP, who had his best day of the day today. Yep.
We're going to talk about him next. Let's answer a couple of questions. That's funny because we haven't even gone over topics, but that's the next guy in line that is on my mind. Matthew Sanders says, eye test, quick release drill look great. Footwork is strong as QB since. Dropbacks don't look fluid, not fast or agile, but powerful. Accurate?
Sometimes. I just think the reps are a little inconsistent. There's times where you'll see it and you're like, there it is. But then like rep to rep, that kind of just changes. And again, that's not really the worst thing in the world because as long as you get it done, like we're talking about throwing motion and stuff like that. But that quick release drill, I really thought that was important because there's been a lot of talk about his arm slot and where he grips the ball, all that stuff, right? But, John Gruden used to run something where he would take the laces off the ball and he would throw them at the quarterbacks and say, listen, sometimes you're not going to be able to grip it the right way. You want to learn how to do that. Obviously, you always want to find the laces, but I thought it was kind of funny that today Brian Griese opened up practice with that, doing that drill with those guys.
Yep. Nope or Dope Review says, is this the same Jimmy G offense with some deeper passes, or do you feel this is tailored to Lance?
It's tailored a little bit more to Lance, but there's still those shorter passes that he connects with Ayuk on. Now, him and Debo, they're still working through some things. Like he hit Debo on a drift route, like that big drift route that he's good at, like in the middle of the field. That looked good. But I wouldn't say it's the same Jimmy G offense. I would just say that there are the explosives that are there, and you saw it on the 2-minute drive. But it is a little bit more tailored to him and the way that they've been running the ball. They've been running it a little bit more inside, what I've noticed a little bit more. So, I think they are getting to that. And Aaron Banks actually had a really good rep, opening up a hole for
Kinlaw. So they're just installing the offense right now. There's a lot of quarterback driven run stuff they can add. And I feel like they're going to have to figure out how they win with Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. And if he's a little inconsistent throwing early on, but the running stuff is working, then they'll feature that. I don't think they have any conscience. I don't think they're like, he was our first round pick. We put 3 first. We can't run him. I think they're going to do what they have to do. They're going to do what he does best. And if that involves 4 or 5 quarterback driven runs a game, they'll do it. I don't know. I don't think they know what they have to do yet, but that's on the table.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Is you work on that stuff in practice, but you're not going to ask him to do that in the game. It's like the same thing with when Garoppolo was here. It's not, hey, throw that thing down the field a bunch. You have to tailor it to what he's doing well, what you feel that you're confident in. And that's going to go game to game as he progresses throughout the season. You're going to see you may see an increase, but that would have to come with the progress that you're looking for from Lance to have Kyle move the needle that way.
Gabe Rocha says, how has Tay Martin looked? Was high on him coming out, but haven't heard much. Is he just running with the third stringers? Yes, but he's winning in the one-on-ones against the third stringers. He looks like he's a good route runner.
Problem is he's probably not going to make the team probably. I mean, you think about how many people they're going to keep. Practice squad, yeah. But the guys that are locks, obviously Debo, Ayuk, McLeod, Danny Gray probably. Malik Turner has a really good shot as well. And Willie Snead is just here so they can practice, right? They need more body. Oh, and Jennings. And Jennings. Yeah. So, it's going to be hard for another wide receiver to crack that.
Isaac Perez, 23, says, has Kinlaw looked at you yet? LOL, how's he doing? We actually talked a little bit. We joked around a little bit. It's squashed. Anyway, how's he doing? He's looking healthy. He's out there.
He was there today. He had a really good bull rush. I saw he was just driving the guy back. It was really good because it was close enough to me that I could see those one-on-ones. I didn't pay attention to the pass blocking one-on-ones this time. I looked over at the line and there were a few good reps from linemen. I saw Donovan West had some good reps. I thought Burford did actually pretty well. Jason Poe even had one really good rep. He's so small compared to those other guys, man. It is shocking to see, even from afar. All of those linemen are giant, and then here's little Jason Poe, but he's got some strength to him, and it's hard to get under his pads.
Agree. Flav says Trey threw a pick 6 and then came back and won the game. Sounds like the arsonist was the firefighter. No, that's funny.
I like it.
Yeah. Look, if Jimmy Garoppolo had a practice like this today, I put him in the good section too. I was really impressed by that last drive, particularly the touchdown pass. I mean, honestly, that was the moment because that's a play that Jimmy doesn't make in practice,
And
in his dreams.
And let me set the scene again. They had every single different. They had 3 down linemen. That's it. And then they had everyone else either in the end zone or in the front of the end zone because it was goal-to-goal situation for the game. And he still fired that thing into Ray Ravenclaw. Very impressive.
And it's like they had everyone covered. He had to leave the pocket. They had Debo covered. They had Kittle covered. They had Ayuk covered. He finds Ray. Oh, and he rolls. He steps out to the left. Ray's on the right. He fires it across the field. I mean, he does these things, and it's like, wow, that was extremely confident the whole play. And then he'll have a throw where it's like, man, that didn't look so confident. But like that whole drive, he felt like he was a 5-year vet, and all of a sudden he was just oozing confidence. Like I guess a great defense. It was very interesting.
That's pretty much like that's the way to encapsulate his entire camp so far. Yeah. Is that you'll look at those moments and you're like, there it is, and then you look at some moments you're like, what on earth? And it's the inconsistency between the reps. And again, we tried to tell you there's going to be ups and downs during the season. Well, camp's no different. There are those ups and downs and everything. It's nothing to overreact to, but there's some struggles there. There are, and he could tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he could end up being a very good passer one day, but this camp going against this defense, there's going to be bad moments. But shredded him. He shredded him on one drive. Flav, thank you very much. We got one more, and then we'll get back to – I think we got you. Hold on. There's one more. No, there's like 3. Hold on. What throws is Lance going to money on? Throws is Lance going to money on? What do you think that means?
I guess it's what's he doing well. It's not necessarily the deep ball right now, which most people don't really do well with the deep ball. I was talking to Crocker about it when we were watching today's practice. Josh Allen led the league with a 41% deep ball percentage. That's 4 out of 10. Those aren't necessarily high percentage throws anyway. Right. You'd like him to see him get like a little bit better with that. But I think it's more those time. What he's been really good with is 2 things. Identifying, looking up, and then getting down to the check down quick enough if that's all covered. Like not getting off reads too fast, but knowing, okay, that's covered. I'm going down here with the ball, getting that out. And the timing and stopping in breaking routes with Brandon Ayuk. He's been money with that. Where Ayuk will he'll sell the 9, he'll put his foot in the ground and come right back. By the time he turns around, that ball's out on time and right at his chest. Like that is the type of stuff that he's been doing very well. So everybody wants to see the deep ball. It'll get there, but that's more encouraging. These type of throws are more encouraging, in my opinion, than those because I think we already knew that he could hit those deep balls.
Well, he hit a lot of deep balls earlier in camp, and I feel like the deep ball, it's not just it's a relationship with a receiver. Mm-hmm. You got to know how fast he is. You got to know what kind of burst he has when the ball is in the air. And like right now, as you pointed out, like Ayuk Lance and Ayuk have a great connection. He's throwing the ball with anticipation. He knows when Ayuk's going to be where he's going to be, and he's hitting him. Not so much with Debo right now. Like Debo, he hasn't been there. I don't think he's quite playing at the speed he normally plays at. They're off. They're just off right now.
Yeah.
But that'll come around with time.
It will. Yeah. They stayed after practice yesterday. They were throwing that straight 9 route that he was on. Like they were throwing those because they want to get that down. I think all the other things like those drift routes, he'll get to it because those are usually wide open throws in the middle of the field. Like that's how they create a way to get Debo that separation, and he's just wide open. Those are easy.
Donald Johnson says a man's greatest learning experiences are learned through mistakes and failures. He'll be great for sure. Also, his humility and maturity in the press conferences are awesome. Great show, GC. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy to judge quarterback, or I don't like judging quarterbacks when things are going well, right? Like when things are going well and you're hitting all your layups and everything's going well, that's not when you judge a quarterback. You judge him when things aren't going well. How does he bounce back? Can he continue? And that's the one thing that I've noticed from last year to this year. Same thing. Trey Lance does not stop firing. He doesn't. Even if it looks like maybe he's unconfident. No, he's confident, man. Like he's good in that way. I love him coming back. And then you saw what happened with that last drive. Again, like have to have it. Kyle's putting that pressure on him, like and saying, you know what, get back out there, get back in the saddle. We're not shying away from you. And look what he did with it.
And one thing too, like what he did on that final drive was throw 3 passes to Kittle. First one, Kittle caught it in the flat, turned up field, 17-yard gain. Mm-hmm. And it's like to me, one reason that he's kind of struggling is that Kittle doesn't really compete and practice the way he used to. I don't think he's dogging it, but he's older and there's no reason. He's proven he's not out there like catching 5 balls a day the way he used to. And in this drill, like he just took over. It was like, oh, right, of course. Still George Kittle, still a great player. He just doesn't necessarily do that anymore because he doesn't need to. He did today. When they needed it, it was like, George, where's 85? So it's a good reminder. He's not as washed as I thought he was. George, you're still very, very good. I take it back.
It's not as washed as I thought.
No, he dominated. He dominated.
No, and the thing is, too, is I think that's going to be a good indicator of when you have to have it, right? Is it going to be Kittle that's going to end up being that guy that he looks to, even if he loves Ayuk as much as he does? And I think Ayuk's going to have an amazing year. So,
well, it should be Debo, but Debo and him are going to have some time.
They'll get it together.
The logical truth says, from your perspective, could this be the best Niners defense you've seen?
It's training camp, but it's not crazy to say, but I'm not ready to say it.
Yeah. A lot depends on Kinlaw and Armstead. Kinlaw and Armstead right there in the middle. A lot depends on those two. And Talanoa. Demon SS says, what is Trey's completion percentage since he started improving? Also, is Juwan Jennings having a Richie James 2021 camp? Kind of.
That drop was bad.
Kind of. Yeah. It's like, dude, what? Yeah. Trey's completion percentage, it's in the 50s. It's not great. I think
you can kind of expect that going into the season as well too, like high 50s, like not quite 60. That's what you're gonna probably get from Trey. But completion percentage is probably one of the most overrated stats anyway. But I would pose this to anyone watching. Let's just say you look at the numbers and it says 11 for 22, but 3 of those are 60-yard bombs. 2 of them are touchdowns, right? Like again, like that stat, yes. The thing that you want to see is you want to see him finish on, move on third down. Like you're going to have to pass to get third downs. But the context of those numbers, right? Like if he went 10 for 10 on all checkdowns, are you guys going to say, well, he went 100%? That's context. Like that's what you need, like to talk about like what he's doing. So those explosives are going to be there. It's not going to be a completion percentage party. He's not going to turn into Drew Brees all of a sudden, but those explosives are going to carry everything else.
Also, this is a run-first team that just got better in the running game because of this guy. I mean, every running back is going to be more efficient because of him. He's going to be their second leading rusher. I think he's going to get 8 carries a game. I mean, he's going to be running the ball as much as like Josh Allen is the way I see it, and who runs a lot. I think he'll be effective like that. Anyway, we have hella comments. Sorry. Gold Rush Podcast says, from day one to now, what has Trey gotten better at? From day one to now, what has Trey gotten better at? Well, I think he's gotten better at the situational football. How about that? Today, 2-minute drill, third down. He had a nice throw to Debo to convert on third down. He had a nice throw to Ayuk to convert on third down, I believe. You don't see that very much in training camp. But today, I mean, the move the ball. How about that? Situational football.
I'll say like the command of the huddle. Like what I did notice, and one thing that I saw when he was at the line on one of his better throws of the day is he checked at the line. So he hit the can and then he got the ball out quickly. So he understood what he saw and he checked out of it and he checked right into the right thing. I think that's something that I think everybody knew. Everybody called him the smartest anyway, but I was really impressed by that. I saw that happen, like, and then the next play, like that same play, he connects on that play.
Kid Tricks, this says, I feel like Lance Niners are going to play like the Eagles. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's going to be very simple.
In what way, though, I'd ask?
In the way that they're going to try to lead the league in rushing. Jalen Hurts is going to be a big part of their rushing. I mean, didn't he lead the team in rushing? I don't think Lance is going to lead the team in rushing because I think they're not really going to have a committee. I think it's going to be Elijah Mitchell taking as many carries as he can handle.
I think the offense will be a little bit more explosive than the Eagles because, I mean, now they've gotten Jalen Hurts and that, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, like now. So, but I think that I would say that that's kind of fair, but I wouldn't say like full on like Jalen Hurts style. Like I wouldn't say that.
Breaking news, Jimmy. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. So he could go to the meetings, but he doesn't want to. Fair. He could do the throwing somewhere else, but he wants to be at practice doing it in front of the media.
Is this your moment? Is this your?
What does that mean? What could it mean?
Right.
If he wants me to say that he's looking great, I won't do that. He'd have to pay me.
I won't do that.
Yeah. Who is Joe says, not sure if you already talked about it, but how is Brian Greasy compared to Rich? Any difference in terms of drills? To Greasy's credit, they have like a new drill every day, and it seems to be topical based on what they're facing in camp. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I was going to say, I noticed him today, and he really was working on that point that we were talking about with gripping the football and everything. That's why everybody's like, oh, it's coming out wobbly. It's like he's not necessarily grabbing the laces, but the drill that they ran was they hiked the ball to him and just quickly get it out. And then there was another one that they were working on, which I got video of. It's play action with his back, but they roll a big ball to him like in front of him. And he just react
to pressure after turning your back. That's good stuff. Yeah. PA, powerful one. Got it. To start, it'll be the same JG offense. Then when D starts selling to stop the run, that's when Trey will be unleashed. By then, he'll be settled in. Interesting.
I think they're gonna play. They're gonna play ball control, and they're gonna, their defense is gonna put them in good spots. They're probably gonna have a lot of turnovers. They'll have change of field position, things like that. So it's not gonna be like Trey Lance having to take them 90 yards down the field every single time. Like, he's gonna be put in good spots. I don't see him having to bear the load of this responsibility of this offense. They're gonna do everything they can to play complementary football around him, as they did with Jimmy Garoppolo.
For sure. Moo Weed says, "Hey Grant, do you think Trey's worked on sliding after a run? Seems like something he struggled with whenever he took off running last year." I guess we'll find out. That's not something I've ever seen a quarterback do in practice. I've never seen sliding in practice.
Work on sliding. He wants to try to run people over, man. I want him to slow down with that.
Yep, because that got Carson Wentz in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be like North Dakota State syndrome. It's like, you can do that at North Dakota State, and you did do that at North Dakota. You can't do that here.
Mm-hmm.
Keneal Mason says, "What's up, Keneal? Sermon Mitchell TDP seems to feel like a three-headed monster. Hope we don't overuse Mitchell this year. How's Sermon improved this year?" What do you think? I can't hear you. There you go.
Sermon looks good this year. I think that he's been much more consistent in his cuts. He makes a good cut and he's going. Like, he looks stronger. He had another drop today in one-on-ones. That's like twice. So obviously, pass catching is not his thing. I think Mitchell looks really good now. He's finally picking it up, and CDP has had stacked like 2 good practices in a row after just being like kind of just there. Like, and not really doing too much with it. Even Jeff Wilson had some good runs today. Jermichael Hasty had a good run today.
Yeah, he did. To me, though, like, of all the running backs in the team, take Hasty out. He's like a scat back. Of all the running backs, like, Sermon runs the least hard. Not that he's like it's soft or anything, but Jeff Wilson, TDP, Elijah Mitchell, like, those guys run hard. And then Sermon is like sliding. He's nifty, but I don't know if that's what they're looking for. I feel like they look at that as being indecisive or whatever. But it seems like he's becoming more decisive, to his credit.
Yeah, and he's slimmed up. He put some muscle on, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna have every shot to get back in there.
At Jason, Rob Stats, praise your work ethic.
Yeah, I appreciate Rob, man, but he knows. I'm on the Niners Nation now, so I got to do it. But yeah, I'm done today. After this, I'm going to the airport. I'm going home, man.
Flav says, "It's August 9th, 2022, and Trey Lance still hasn't led a real game-winning drive." Flav's a big Jimmy Garoppolo fan and Trey Lance skeptic. Here's the thing. How does it make you feel as a Jimmy Garoppolo fan that he's being replaced by someone like this? He's not proven. He has very little experience, and the organization is like, "Jimmy, you're out. You can throw there if you like, but we don't want you anymore. We're good."
Flav, I would ask you, it's August 9th. There's no football games. Like, what is he supposed to do?
August 6th.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's August 6th. Yeah. It is August 6th, but there are no football games. I don't know why that, he hasn't led a game-winning drive. He got to play in the game? I don't know.
House of Jello says, if this is a run-first team, how are the running backs overall, and how is the run blocking?
It's good so far. I mean, Aaron Banks had a good day today, and I think that they've kind of got – it's Burford's job at right guard, and you know what the 2 bookends are. I think we're just trying to figure out what center is.
Does camp look different with the new coaches?
No, not really. Just the greasy part, I would say, is a little bit different. I saw Anthony Lynn out there with the running backs, but it's the same old deal.
Yeah. Leonard Hankerson runs the same exact drills as Wes Welker.